It's now time for the Coaches Show on News Talk 1250 KBRF and KBRFradio.com, presented by the Viking Cafe and brought to you by the Minnesota Motor Company, Lake Region Healthcare, Nelson Auto Center, Quality Toyota, and by Running Stitches. Now for the Coaches Show presented by the Viking Cafe, here's Craig Olson.
And good morning, everyone. Welcome to the program. It's our final Coaches Show of the fall season, and we're actually going to have a little bit of winter talk as well on this show as the girls' hockey season is underway. But for the most part, we're wrapping up fall sports, and in some cases, like the Hillcrest football team, fall sports are still going. Congratulations to the Comets, and we'll have Corey Fry on a little later in the program as well. But a lot to recap, and today's a big day for Fergus Falls swimming and diving. The girls are up in War Road today for their section meet, trying to qualify for state, and we'll be excited to hear how they come out. And we will have Rachel Cox joining us on Monday morning at 7:25 on Talkin' Sports here on News Talk 1250 KBRF to review the section meet and talk about the individuals who have qualified for states. So that's coming up on Monday. Right now, though, to start the program, I do want you to remember to text keyword Viking to 321-1926 for your opportunity to win a $25 gift certificate from the Viking Cafe. And that's worth it, boy. I tell you, just get on your phone and do that text, and you may be the person that gets to go buy breakfast or lunch for somebody, courtesy of the Viking Cafe. We're going to start today with Nikki Weldy, the head coach of the Otter girls cross country team, and we're just talking about how fast time goes. Seems like you were just at the preseason camp with your kids, right?
Yeah. I was just at the state meet looking at everything and just thinking, wow, this just went by in a flash.
Absolutely, and what a year it was. I mean, you got 4 kids total down to state, 2 girls, 2 boys. And your 2 girls, Cassie Wellman and Carson Lill, were all state performers.
Yes.
I mean, that's coming on the air. Cassie's been to state 4 times, a pretty rare occurrence, I think, for an Otter to have 4 state appearances in her sport.
Yeah, it's some of our great past athletes. You talk about a Michelle Danielson or a Haley Zenner, kids like that. You're taking them. That's quite an honor to be running in those shoe prints.
Well, and the thing about cross country or track, you always see a lot of young kids getting to state.
Yep.
The new kids on the block
Yep.
are pushing the juniors and seniors who have been there before. And it seems like every year that competition gets harder and harder. You don't always look at just, who graduated.
Yeah.
It's like, who's coming up?
Yeah, you watch that. Who's coming up is right. Who's going to be that next, Friedrich, who won the meet, from St. Peter, and, who's going to be there. And you look at that back, who's there. And, it's kind of fun to watch because Carson's one of those kids.
That's right. There she is as a
Yep.
freshman getting down there. And her story is pretty incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, she was at state in tennis with the Otters and consolation champions there, and then going to cross country. That's tough to balance, Nikki.
It is really tough to balance. Because we look at our kids and the fatigue and everything at the end of the season as we start our taper and backing down from some things, and she's been doing that with 2 sports, and it's just it's amazing. She's amazing.
Yes, and Cassie. Well, what can you say about her? She must be quite a trainer. I mean, this for 4 years out of 5 to get to state, you've got to train. This is not just a start running in August and compete at state in November thing.
No, it's not. And she comes in, and I say it the last few years, she's come in day one ready to just ready to go. She's put in the miles over the summer. The kids are on a Strava app, and we can kind of see what they've been doing, and she's all business. I mean, it's all. She has goals, and she'll do what she needs to do to meet them.
Yeah, it's exciting to see, and that can be infectious. You hope it is that the other kids see the success she's having and the work that she puts in, and they want to do the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. They see her success, and to be honest, both those girls, they make it look easy when they're running. They're just smooth, and they just have just such a way about it.
So do they have different approaches to their running strategies?
A little bit. Cassie gets in the mix right away. She's not afraid to kind of push with you never know what that first pack is, who's going to go out, who's going to lead, what's that pace going to be. And at state and big meets like this, a lot of times you just have to be willing to sacrifice a little bit in that first mile. And Carson's much more of a pick away, and then there's something to that too. Getting out and then starting to pass and looking ahead. She's good about having her eyes up, looking where she wants to be, and kind of move through. So yeah, they're a little different in how they run their races.
What was the weather like on state day? Was it a good day for running?
It was perfect for running.
Okay.
It was pretty cold for spectating, but it was a great day. Beautiful, at that Les Bolstead is just such a beautiful site. Yeah. So many beautiful trees right in the metro area and everything, and it just felt like fall. It was just wonderful. Yeah. No rain that day, and perfect.
Just what you'd order if you were in charge, huh?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Terry Harrington's in charge of the weather still, I think.
Yes, he is.
All cross-country meets.
Yeah. From Arizona most of the year.
Right, yeah, exactly. Otter girls as a whole this year, what excites you about what you saw beyond Cassie and Carson?
Yeah.
And I know you had a lot of personal bests at the end of the year, which is when you want people at their peak.
Right. Yeah. And I think it bodes well with seeing what they need to do coming into the season next year. I think it's going to be a battle for our top 5 and our numbers are a little lower. But the girls that we have are just very dedicated. And so, you've got a Natalie Gerner who just started to really come on and kind of see what her season could be like, and Lydia Ugarud and Lily Aronovic. I think we haven't seen, everything out of them. Olivia Budke's another one who just had some bad luck here and there, just in training and different things. And we get them all there healthy. I'm really excited about next year. Yeah.
And as far as seniors, you lose not a lot of athletes,
our manager, Jenna Thorson's our only senior girl this year. So everybody's back. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting too.
Well, I mean, it's tough without Jenna. I don't know quite what we're all going to do, but I mean, we'll survive.
Well, and I'm sure you're excited to see what these girls can do in the spring too with track and field, because I guess most of them, if not all of them, are going to be involved.
Oh yeah. I mean, this is the time of year where we start. Towards the end of cross country, it's like track and field. There were a lot of conversations in the van about track and field. So it's exciting to look forward to that.
Well, it's fun to see the accomplishments those girls had. And Allie Bradenberg, we talked about Carson. Allie's another one of those two sport athletes in the fall, and she came a long way too.
Yes, she did, and especially right at the end with her times were dropping, and that's when it's amazing to me. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I feel like I got run over by a truck and I didn't do anything, and then these kids are out doing 2 sports and they're doing it well, and it's so exciting.
Yeah, that is exciting. Well, maybe these girls have started a trend.
I think so. It worked. I felt like our schedules worked really well, and JB was great to work with balancing both. The kids pick a primary sport, and and then they focus on that when it comes to playoff and section, but everything fell into place. And the parents, are amazing. Just, Bradenbergs were so awesome about, driving and meeting us or doing whatever they had to do. So it's a lot of on everybody's schedule, but it all worked out and it's a lot of fun.
Jamie was the only loser there because she didn't get to watch her daughter run because she was coaching
a lot of texts and a lot of little video clips. And she said that when they were at, we were at the section meet and they were at state, and the girls, everybody was waiting for the texts to start coming in, and they, you can watch the meet virtually by, following the clock and then the mile splits and the 2 mile split and everything, and then and so they were all just kind of standing around their phones, I guess, because they were out of break, and it was kind of fun to watch from a distance.
I was thinking the other day, you've been around this sport for a long time. We won't say how long, but but it has changed so much how they run a meet and the timing mechanisms they use now. Think about the old days when you had to have a lot of people with stopwatches and assign different. It's just crazy.
I feel like I'm that person now talking about back in the old days. When you used to have a sticker, or they'd hand you a card, and then you'd have to give it to your coach, and your coach would have to turn that in. And now we have splits all over the race on them. It's so awesome.
It's just amazing.
Yeah, it
Mine's
is.
Brighter than mine have figured that out. That's for sure.
Right.
Well, let's shift gears. You had a couple of boys who got there as well, Derek Meyer and Nikki. rotate here on the Coaches Show so they get to talk about both the boys and the girls when they're on. And Brody Nelson and Micah Mosier both made it to state. And at the start of the season, you sit down with your kids and you set goals and what you want to accomplish. And I'm sure the majority of them say, I want to get to state, and then to say that and then to go out and do it are two different things.
Absolutely. And, the boys team especially was sitting in a situation where, there was a chance to get that whole team in again. And that would have been a lot of fun. And they ended up, I think it was 4th overall, but it doesn't take much to flip that during a cross country meet. And now you say with instant results, just watching those results come in is just such a crazy thing, because you watch these teams, it's flipping back and forth, and you're kind of counting in your head, and it's tough to watch, but
stress.
Yeah, it's very stressful. But we always go into it with hey, this is our hopes and dreams, this is what we want to happen, and then this really should happen. And Brody and Micah were those, this really should happen no matter what. And another one was Sam Rasmussen, who just missed out on that last spot for individuals for state. But he's just right there too. So he was one of our hopes and dreams that we missed out on. But Brody and Micah had excellent races that day, and they just went with a great confidence.
And, this year, the boys cross country team, they lost some good leaders from last year's team, and yet they were able to reload kind of and be right in it. So what does that mean for next year? Are we losing a significant amount again?
Yeah, well, we're off that team, you lose Micah and Eric Swanson and, some of these guys, but that team is reloaded again. And there's some really younger guys who are just fired up, that just they'll be there too. The boys group that went to state multiple times, and graduated, they kind of set up a standard of training and a standard of, just positive attitude. And it's just, it's been awesome.
So hopefully these kids that are now members of the Otter varsity and junior varsity and junior high program will kind of follow their lead. And
there's some guys who are really fired up for those spots. So
keep building on that.
Yes.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to see a season end, but it's always good to celebrate what the kids accomplished. And I know one thing that came up a lot this year when we talked was the work ethic, the dedication, and it seems like they've really bought into that and buying in. That's something coaches, really want to see from their kids. And I think you guys are pretty fortunate to have that type of a group of kids.
Oh, we are. Yeah. I mean, it's for years it's been the, are they doing too much? Are we doing too much? Are we, do we have to pull back? We're the fine tuning. And so it's fun not to be begging them to put on the miles and the intervals and put in the splits and everything. And when they're doing it, I'd rather fight the, hey, you do have to take a rest day. I'd rather have that.
And just to end the wrap up here, talk about your coaches that are working with you, because you and Derek are leading the pack there, but you need some help. Yeah.
So the girls' assistant is Melanie Preeb, and she's just so awesome, Coach Mel, and what we would do without her. And then then we have Josh Scharnberg is the boys' assistant, and he is just Sharney. I feel like and then we have our middle school coach is Emily Ahrens, who's Emily Ratz, who's one of our fast runners and fast otter. So the combination, the five of us, we have a group text, and we call it the Dream Team, and it's just they're so much fun to work with. We just have so much fun. That the trip down the state in the van, it was so much fun, and so much of it is those coaches, our personalities and just everybody together and the kids, and it was just a good mix. So the whole season was like that. Emily came in this year and said, I've coached in other places. She goes, I can just tell this is going to be a lot of fun. So it was good.
Was there a moment of quiet in that van?
Not really.
No.
Derek doesn't really allow that.
No.
Right. He'll fill that space.
Sounds good. Nikki, thanks so much for coming in, and congratulations on a great fall season.
All right. Thank you. Thanks, Craig.
Yep. Nikki Weldy, the head coach of the Otter Girls Cross Country team, joining us on our Coaches Show presented by the Viking Cafe. We'll take a time out. Remember, you need to text keyword Viking to 321-1926 for your chance at a $25 gift certificate from the Viking. Otter football coming up next. Chris Grabowska will join us after this break on the Coaches Show presented by the Viking Cafe.
The key to a great meal is at the Viking Cafe of Fergus Falls. The Viking Cafe with Minnesota's best omelet, manhole cover pancakes, and burgers that will fill your appetite. The key to a great breakfast and lunch is at the Viking Cafe, downtown Fergus Falls.
The 2025 model year closeout pricing has arrived at Minnesota Motor Company in Fergus Falls. They have just a handful of new 2025 Chevy and Buick vehicles remaining, and all of them are at their lowest prices of the year. From the Chevy Blazer to the Buick Enclave, you won't want to miss out on these great deals. Contact the sales team for more information.
Minnesota Motor.
South Pebble Lake Road, Fergus Falls.
Lake Region Healthcare knows what all coaches know. It takes tons of teamwork, great amounts of grit, and heaps of hustle to triumph. Lake Region Healthcare, supporting and celebrating our high school athletes.
Nelson Auto Center in Fergus Falls is proud to sponsor area athletics. Nelson Auto knows the value of a good team, and we'd like to invite you in to meet our team. See how our team takes care of you and your family. Nelson Auto Center in Fergus Falls.
Running Stitches Embroidery in Fergus Falls is West Central Minnesota's leader in high-quality screen printing and custom embroidery. Whether you're looking for a one-of-a-kind custom job or need to outfit the entire team, Running Stitches Embroidery will be there when you need them.
What's your number?
I drove 60 miles to get a great deal from Quality Toyota. I drove 45 miles to get a great deal from Quality Toyota.
The key to a great meal is at the Viking Cafe of Fergus Falls. The Viking Cafe with Minnesota's best omelet, manhole cover pancakes, and burgers that will fill your appetite. The key to a great breakfast and lunch is at the Viking Cafe, downtown Fergus Falls.
Welcome back to the show. Chris Grabowska is with us, head coach of the Otter football team, and the Otters season ended on Thursday. I got to get my dates straight here. We've been playing all kinds of weird dates lately.
Yes, I know.
No Friday Night Lights for a while, but 36-14 to the Orono Spartans. And I was just talking with Chris about that game where, Orono, as the game was going on, I'm thinking, man, Orono's a large school that we're playing here. Mm-hmm. And we were talking about enrollment numbers, and they are. They're a big school compared to Fergus, aren't they?
Yep. Yeah. I actually looked up the numbers this morning. Every school we played this year, they are 150 kids are bigger than us, and Orono has 900 kids in their school. We have 594. So it's quite a bit of a difference, and I thought we were in that game right until the end. It was 14-7 at half, 21-14 in the fourth quarter, and then we just the wheels fell off. We were really banged up and injured across the board, and if we were healthy in that game, I think that's a dogfight and we have a chance to win. But Orono's a great team. I tip my hat to them, and it's not like I felt like I was disappointed after that loss. They were just better than us, and our kids battled and gave it everything they had, and lots to be proud of for this season for sure.
Well, and you knew they'd do that, battle to the end and give you everything they had. They've been doing it all year for you. And they've had some great victories out there as you bumped up to 4A from 3A, and that's never an easy transition. And the Otters through the years have always been one of the smaller schools in their section, it seems. So you really can't afford a lot of injury. You don't have as much depth as some teams do. But one thing that Orono did well was run the football. They had some pretty good line play. How did you match up on the line with them, with your injuries considered?
Well, yeah, I thought they just kind of wore us down as the game went along, and they did establish their run game. And I just, they found some, I don't want to really say weak spots in our defense, but they attacked certain spots on our defense that they had a lot of success at. I thought their tackles play was they were really good, and they kind of had those formations where they had their tight ends and wings on the line as well, and they matched up well with our outside linebackers and kind of really attacked those areas. So they did a good job. They had a great game plan, and we like I said, battled right until the end, and the score, I thought it was a lot closer than what the score
Absolutely,
indicated,
yeah.
and we had our chances and we just wore out and
Yeah.
yeah, lots to be proud of.
Talking about their running game, and I'm listening to Mark Johnson during that broadcast, and I'm sure as coaches, you're watching film on your opponent coming up, and you're saying, okay, we're not going to run to this guy's side because he's too good. They don't want to run to Caleb Fronin's side. The way I'm hearing it from Mark Johnson on the radio, they're running away from Caleb a lot because he's a guy that really kind of drives your defense.
Oh yeah, Caleb, he's a special player. I've coached now for 24 years, and I've coached a lot of tough kids. And coming from Montana, those are tough kids because they're ranchers and the cowboy lifestyle. And Caleb, he's right up there. He's a special player. He's a tough player. He's got a lot of athleticism too, so he can get the job done. And yeah, they did attack one side of the football, but the scheme, was really well coached. They double teamed our DNs. They kicked out or reached our outside linebackers and led somebody up the hole. So, it's really, really tough to defend that when you're kind of out schemed. And we wanted to really go to a 4-man front, but we couldn't do a 4-man front because we didn't have any linemen left either. So, it was just one of those nights where, we couldn't get it done because of depth and injuries.
And it sounded like Orno was pretty quick too, getting to the hole and getting through the hole.
Oh yeah, they were. They're quick getting there, and their running back lines up 7 yards deep in the backfield, so he's full speed by the time he hits the hole. So if you don't stop him at the line, it's going to be 7-8 yards a carry.
Yeah. Well, again, the injuries played a part, obviously, not to make excuses, but when you're missing a playmaker, too, like Isaiah Holmes on the offensive side of the ball, that hurts. You've got a lot of good receivers who have come through great for you, but they did it as a group. And when you take one piece out of that, that kind of changes what you can do.
Yeah, we definitely missed Isaiah on both sides of the ball, and offense especially. He can make plays, and I thought we moved the ball really well offensively. We just, it seemed like we could get down near the end zone a couple times, and we couldn't quite punch it in. And having a guy like Isaiah, you can kind of throw the ball up and let him make plays, and that's what we were missing on offense for sure.
Orono's defense, what did they do that frustrated you? I know Caleb got over 100 yards rushing there, but Eston, were they spying, watching Eston, keeping him in check? What was their philosophy defensively?
Well, they got pressure with 4 guys. They got pressure with their 4 D linemen. I thought we were okay when they're in they ran 2 fronts. Thought we were okay when they're in their 3-man front because we've done really well picking up blitzes all year long. And then they switched to a 4-man front with the 2 stand-up DNs, and that's number 85 and number 9, I believe it was, 2 of their best players, I thought. Those guys, they kind of tormented us. They got pressure on us, and, Eston, I thought he was under duress pretty much all night, and then we got behind, and then we have to start throwing the ball a little bit more, and they know that. Yep. You know that as a defense, and so that's kind of was the story the whole second half. But our kids battled on offense, and we made some plays and we got close and couldn't get it in.
I think you hit it right there. You said get worn down in the fourth quarter, the lack of depth and just the physical game that they played. And boy, you start getting like that worn down physically, it doesn't take long for you to get worn down mentally either.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. I think it was 21-14, and then they scored, and then they scored again. It's just kind of like, well,
yep.
You tip your hat off to them. It was a great season. Made state first year in 4A. That's a big accomplishment for these guys, and it just kind of seemed like all year nobody really outside of our circle thought that they could get it done, and in school and in community and everywhere, but then they started seeing what we could do, and they got behind our kids and supported them, and and they're all everybody is like, what you guys did was really special. Took a lot of guts and courage and determination to get it done, and that's what I'm most proud of our kids. You know, they went against the grain and found a way to have success on this schedule.
Hey, what your team did was historic, really, in Otter football history. Hasn't happened often where, I think only one other time, where back-to-back teams have made it to state. So that's a pretty good accomplishment, you know, for these guys. And would the term overachievers apply to this group?
I don't think so. I mean, it seems that way, right? Because we're like I said, I mean, we're playing against the schools that are 200 plus kids bigger than us, and I just think it's more of a testament to the character of our kids. They work hard, they're determined, they're gritty, they're athletic, they just love playing football, and they're never going to back down from anybody. And that was the mindset all year. Even in our last game Thursday night, they just don't back down. They're going to fight until the very end. That's the kind of kids we have in Fergus Falls right now. And I think we've been to the state 5 times now, and these kids have done it twice.
Yeah, pretty impressive.
It is.
I'm telling you, Otter pride right there. So here we are at the end of the season. And every year the coach has to look at his roster and say, oh, man, we're going to miss these guys, these seniors that are leaving. When you look at that and you see the people coming back, and that excites you, who do you get to work with again next year? But where are the Otters going to feel the loss the most, Chris, as far as graduation goes? Well,
I think we got to have some linemen step up again. That's been the story every single year now, the past 2-3 years. We got to have some young linemen step up. We got to find a way to build depth on the line. We have to. That's a must. Obviously, we have a couple of great skill guys coming back, and Pee Wee and Caleb. You know, that's going to be kind of our nucleus there. We're gonna, we replace. Well, we got Trent and Juilliard too at receiver, but other than that, we're going to replace every skilled position on the offensive side and the defensive backfield. So there's opportunities there for our young kids to step in, and I'm excited. We got some good ones coming up, and we're just going to have to have the same mindset. We're going to have to work hard off season, get ready, not back down to the bigger schools, and see what happens next year.
And this is a time of year, too, between now and training camp next year, where you really find out who your leaders are. I mean, who's going to lead this team, not in the game or on the field, but getting them in the weight room, preparing for next season, and just getting that positive attitude going and that culture that you want to develop away from the field.
Yeah, exactly. It's been established. Our kids know what to do. They're going to go in their other sports because in a school our size, we have to have multi-sport athletes. Otherwise, we're not going to be successful. So they're going to compete in their winter sports, spring sports, and then, get after it in the weight room. So that's going to be the mentality moving forward.
All right. Give a shout out to your coaches. You didn't do it alone, I know, but you've got a great group of coaches that are working along with you.
Oh, yes, definitely. I kind of said that in the Pep Fest on Thursday. I feel like I have one of the best coaching staffs in the state, and a lot of experience. They bring a lot of knowledge to the table, and could not do it without them. So thankful for them, for sure.
Yeah, outstanding. Sure appreciate your coming in weekly to talk about your Otters. What a fun year, 8-3. What is that now? Last year was what, 10-2?
10-1, yeah.
10-1. Sorry, I threw in a loss there somewhere. How did I do that? So you're 18-4 in the first 2 years with the Otters. That speaks highly of what you guys are bringing to the program and what the kids are, of course, buying into it. And that buying in, that's important, isn't it?
It is. And that's another reason I'm so impressed with our kids. And sometimes I don't really take it easy on them. I push them, and I try to get the most I can out of them. And these kids want to be pushed, and really impressed. And that's what we're going to continue to do moving forward.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Chris Grabowska, head coach of the Otter football team, joining us on our Coaches Show, presented by the Viking Cafe. Text keyword Viking to 321-1926 for your chance at a $25 gift certificate from the Viking. Got pancakes and bacon waiting out there for Coach Grabowski, unless he already took care of that.
I'm going to grab one.
All right, there we go. So don't go away. We're going to continue. We're going to talk with Isaac Vatnsdal, the first-year head coach of the Otter girls hockey team, when we come back on the Coaches Show, presented by the Viking Cafe.
The key to a great meal is at the Viking Cafe of Fergus Falls. The Viking Cafe with Minnesota's best omelet, manhole cover pancakes, and burgers that will fill your appetite. The key to a great breakfast and lunch is at the Viking Cafe, downtown Fergus Falls.
The 2025 model year closeout pricing has arrived at Minnesota Motor Company in Fergus Falls. They have just a handful of new 2025 Chevy and Buick vehicles remaining, and all of them are at their lowest prices of the year. From the Chevy Blazer to the Buick Enclave, you won't want to miss out on these great deals. Contact the sales team for more information.
Minnesota Motor.
South Pebble Lake Road, Fergus Falls.
Lake Region Healthcare knows what all coaches know. It takes tons of teamwork, great amounts of grit, and heaps of hustle to triumph. Lake Region Healthcare, supporting and celebrating our high school athletes.
Nelson Auto Center in Fergus Falls is proud to sponsor area athletics. Nelson Auto knows the value of a good team, and we'd like to invite you in to meet our team. See how our team takes care of you and your family. Nelson Auto Center in Fergus Falls.
Running Stitches Embroidery in Fergus Falls is West Central Minnesota's leader in high-quality screen printing and custom embroidery. Whether you're looking for a one-of-a-kind custom job or need to outfit the entire team, Running Stitches Embroidery will be there when you need them.
What's your number?
I drove 60 miles to get a great deal from Quality Toyota. I drove 45 miles to get a great deal from Quality Toyota.
Quality Toyota.
The key to a great meal is at the Viking Cafe of Fergus Falls. The Viking Cafe with Minnesota's best omelet, manhole cover pancakes, and burgers that will fill your appetite. The key to a great breakfast and lunch is at the Viking Cafe, downtown Fergus Falls.
Welcome back to the program. We're wrapping up the fall sports season on the Coaches Show and starting the winter sports season, kind of transitioning here all at once. Although I will tell you that the next 2 weeks we will not have a program, as we have a little break between the fall and winter schedule, except for girls hockey, which has started already. More on that in a minute. But we'll be back the 29th, the Saturday after Thanksgiving, for the start of the winter Coaches Show, when we cover all the winter sports on a weekly basis. And Running Stitches Embroidery is one of our sponsors on the Coaches Show. They have these really nifty hats, and every coach gets one when they come on for the first time. So Isaac Vatnsdal, there is your Running Stitches Embroidery hat.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for coming in. Isaac's a 2006 grad of Fergus Falls High School, played hockey for the Otters. His dad was a coach for the Otters, boys and girls, and actually got a girls team to state as a head coach. And now Isaac's following in his skate steps, I guess, here as the first-year head coach of the Otter girls hockey team. So welcome.
Thank you.
And I want to know the story. How did you wind up in this position?
Well, when I coached the Bantam A's for 3 years, would have been coming on to 4. And got a call from Abrams, Derek, the AD, seeing if it was something of interest, and had a good group of girls, and they just gave me a call, and we had a conversation about it, and that's kind of where it landed.
Well, and here you are. You're jumping in feet first, getting things going, trying to figure out who's on the team, familiarizing yourself with their skills. And you've got a good group of seniors, though, girls that have been through some pretty good seasons.
Yeah, we have a lot of good leadership on the team, which is nice because it makes my job a lot easier, makes the coaches' jobs a lot easier when you're coming in. I mean, we only had, 35 to 40 days to kind of get ready for the season. And there's a lot of other extra things that, doesn't pertain to just hockey.
Yep.
That's needed in order to be able to even just get on the ice. So I think having the leadership from the girls is, very important, and it's very nice to see. It's a good group.
When you look at what you have on the ice from these girls, where do you feel this team looks to be the strongest? What part of the game do you feel is their strength?
Honestly, I think they have a lot of different things that they're strong in, but they have a lot of speed. They have a lot of quickness. Right now, the last 2 weeks, we've been pushing them pretty hard. We've had 2-a-days, morning and afternoon, and kind of getting them to it, hopefully a different standard, and really harnessing that speed and harnessing that work ethic. And they're answering that call, but I think the biggest thing is just they have speed, they have quickness, they understand the game, but it's just getting to the point where we can get some of that out of them every single day, all the time.
So as you put together a team and put line combinations out there, how challenging is that as a first-year head coach when you're seeing things in practice and you're not seeing them in a game setting? That's got to be a challenge early on.
It is tough, and I think that's where the patience has to really kind of come in from the girls, which is hard to do. You have it's a long season, but a short season.
Right.
When you have seniors that want to see success, or maybe parents or people on the outside, which is a lot different than the youth side, right? But we're really trying to get them to understand the process of what we're trying to go through. And I'm really excited because you get your first game under your belt, you get done with that, and then you can move forward and see where you're at and get a good idea of what you need to work on moving forward. So that's going to help a lot. But it does make it challenging, but it makes it exciting as well, because maybe they get to try some different things too, having a new coaching staff come in.
Tell me about your staff, since you bring it up. Who else is working with you with these girls?
Yeah, so I've got Justin Arneson and Ellie Anderson. So just got a good group of people who are just good people, first and foremost, and really trying to build out the culture and all be on the same page with that. But Justin Arneson and Ellie Anderson who's right now.
And Ellie had quite a hockey career herself. And Arnie probably could have. I mean, Arnie is one of those athletes, he probably could played any sport and been a star, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he won't tell you that, but I think it's probably true.
Yeah.
So, you look at hockey, and we'll build from the goal out, right? So let's start at the goal.
Yeah.
Who's battling for that goalie spot? I know LSM played last night for you.
Yeah, so we've got Sam and then Jurgens.
Olivia.
They're going to be going probably back and forth, and just kind of see who can kind of compete. And I told them, make that hard for me, make that a hard decision. And right now they're supporting each other very well with that. And hopefully, if the world was perfect, we'd play 50-50 and they'd both play all the time. But we know that that's likely not the reality. So hopefully we get more of a clear starter for every game. But right now it's just them battling back and forth and seeing who we can kind of have on top.
Who do you see establishing themselves as the leaders on the blue line, the defensive core?
Yeah, so right now, we have DeBrito as a senior. Katzenmeyer and Zender played a lot last night. And then also we had freshman Harris come up and play, because we have Brooke Zierden. She had kind of hurt her knee during practice. So she's out for maybe a week or two. So getting her back will be a nice, a little bit more consistency from, playing many years and many games of varsity. So,
sure. And up front, where are the goals going to come from?
Well, I hope from everybody.
Yeah.
I hope from everybody. But, you have Hannah Johnson, who's pretty strong there as a center. With Brimhall, she just has such a hard shot. And, she is just so strong coming into the middle of the ice and going into the corners. We have Nelson up there with her, with those two, I guess. And then right now we have Tonneson and Wohler and Scholl on that kind of that second line going out. And it's kind of interesting because I'm starting to get the names down. So I'm trying I'm trying to remember at the top. I'm like, am I saying their names right? But I am. So and we're kind of we're just trying to really get them to the point where we have really three good lines going out hard. I was really impressed by Sam and Berggren and Dirkman yesterday. I thought they did a really fantastic job, and I think they're starting to buy in with what we're wanting to do. It's just going to be hard when it's different in the gameplay situation. So I'm hoping goals come from everybody, but we have a lot of the returners who had a lot of those points from last year.
You faced Marshall last night in your first game. The last team you played last year, I think, in the
first and last game of last year.
That's right, and a 3-2 loss last year, I think, in that last one at state. But last night they got you 7-0.
Yep.
Obviously, they're a state tournament team from a year ago. They brought back quite a bit from last year, from what was understanding
Yes.
last night. A couple of pretty powerful scorers out there. Overall, the evaluation of the going on the road first time out there on the ice, did it come at you pretty quick?
It did. The game went fast. You know, I was like, wow. You know, it's done.
Yeah.
It started and it's done, and you wait for so long to get there, and then it just seemed like it went so quick. But you know, it was good to see again what we needed to work on coming into Monday. And you know, our theme of the night was just win your shift. And you know, there's a lot of girls that were thinking that maybe we really didn't maybe accomplish that. But there's a lot of good things that came out of it. But the overwhelming theme for me when watching the game was that we had a lot of turnovers in that second period. You know, in areas that were not opportune times. So right before the red line, right before our blue line, areas that you just don't want to give up that puck. And when you have players on the other team, on the opposition that can score, they're going to make you pay, right? So that makes it tough. So that's just things that we need to work on. But it was exciting to see that and then know what that needs to be.
That battle for the puck, the 50-50 pucks, as they call them, you know, you want to win most of those and not turn it over. But as far as physical play, and I know there's limits in girls hockey on how physical you can be, but is this a team that's going to be a physical playing team?
Yeah, I think they're scrappy. You
Yeah.
know, I think they like putting on their hard hat and going, you know, and it's fun in practice. You see that. And I think right now we've thrown so much at them, you know, in the last 2 weeks that, you know, at the end of the day, just go play hockey. Just don't think, just know, trust your instincts and just go. There's still going to be things that we, you know, push them on. But I think at the end of the day, just go play hockey. And yesterday, I think there was a lot of adrenaline, you know, first game, you know, away. Had a lot of girls who maybe hadn't seen as much varsity play last year that are now having to step up from, you know, some of the girls that aren't there from the year prior. So I think there's a lot of growing pains that are going to happen from that. But as long as we trust that process and we keep pushing and going, I think we're going to be okay.
I like what you said earlier. It's a long season, but it's a short season because, yeah, you start earlier than any other winter sport. You're already going. You have one game under your belt, and we're November, 7th or 8th.
Yeah.
But your season, by Christmas, you'll have like half of your schedule done.
Yeah, it's quick.
It's
quick.
Yeah.
It's very quick.
And then, you're the first one to wrap up, but that's not until February.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll go fast.
It will.
For sure. But we wish you the best as you make the adjustment to be the first-year head coach, and you have to deal with people like me, the media, you know, bugging you at all hours.
There's a lot more extra stuff when you're doing the youth. I will say that.
Yeah.
It's good, though.
Well, yeah, thanks for I love it when former Otters come back and, you know, volunteer time coaching at the youth level, spend time getting back into the program that they came through, and now you got a head coaching opportunity here. And, we wish you the best. So good to have you back in Fergus and working hard, I know, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a grind, but it's fun to be back. Fun to be back home.
Yeah.
Fun to be able to, you know, see all the. And it's interesting too. The one thing you go to the rink, you don't see different people. You just see now they're grandparents. They're not the parents. So everyone's the same. They kind of filter through, and it's kind of fun because then hockey's a good community. It's a really good group of people.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it, Isaac. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate you coming in.
Absolutely.
You got a busy day today, too, so get a little rest sometime, will you?
Yeah, someday.
It hasn't happened, has it?
Yeah, well, I won't be able to go deer hunting today, so that's the only the downfall, but maybe pheasant hunting tomorrow.
Well, you got to fill the schedule with something,
That's
right?
right.
Yeah,
Yes.
all right. Thanks, Isaac.
Yeah, thanks, Craig.
Isaac Vattensdahl, first-year head coach of the Otter girls hockey team. We're going to continue the program. Derek Abraham is the athletic activities director. I'll get it right. Is going to come on next with us, and we have Corey Fry yet to come with the Hillcrest football team. So a lot to go yet here on our Coaches Show presented by the Viking Cafe. Don't forget to text the keyword Viking to 321-1926 and enter for your opportunity to get a $25 gift certificate from the Viking Cafe. And we'll be right back with more on the Coaches Show presented by the Viking Cafe.
The key to a great meal is at the Viking Cafe of Fergus Falls. The Viking Cafe with Minnesota's best omelet, manhole cover pancakes, and burgers that will fill your appetite. The key to a great breakfast and lunch is at the Viking Cafe, downtown Fergus Falls.
The 2025 model year closeout pricing has arrived at Minnesota Motor Company in Fergus Falls. They have just a handful of new 2025 Chevy and Buick vehicles remaining, and all of them are at their lowest prices of the year. From the Chevy Blazer to the Buick Enclave, you won't want to miss out on these great deals. Contact the sales team for more information.
Minnesota Motor.
South Pebble Lake Road, Fergus Falls.
Lake Region Healthcare knows what all coaches know. It takes tons of teamwork, great amounts of grit, and heaps of hustle to triumph. Lake Region Healthcare, supporting and celebrating our high school athletes.
Nelson Auto Center in Fergus Falls is proud to sponsor area athletics. Nelson Auto knows the value of a good team, and we'd like to invite you in to meet our team. See how our team takes care of you and your family. Nelson Auto Center in Fergus Falls.
Running Stitches Embroidery in Fergus Falls is West Central Minnesota's leader in high-quality screen printing and custom embroidery. Whether you're looking for a one-of-a-kind custom job or need to outfit the entire team, Running Stitches Embroidery will be there when you need them.
What's your number?
I drove 60 miles to get a great deal from Quality Toyota. I drove 45 miles to get a great deal from Quality Toyota.
Quality Toyota.
The key to a great meal is at the Viking Cafe of Fergus Falls. The Viking Cafe with Minnesota's best omelet, manhole cover pancakes, and burgers that will fill your appetite. The key to a great breakfast and lunch is at the Viking Cafe, downtown Fergus Falls.
Hey, welcome back to the show as we continue talking fall sports and, well, transitioning into winter sports. And no guy does it better than Derek Abrahams, because he's always thinking of not only the season that's going on, but the season that's coming up, and then next year. I mean, you got to be thinking at all levels here, Derek.
Yeah, we're in the office during the day. We're putting the schedules together for next year.
Yep.
And then, of course, once school gets out, or about 4 o'clock, then we go back into what we have that night. But no, that's just all part of the job. It's you get this stuff. Try to get this stuff done about a year in advance and everything. But it's an exciting time right now. You have playoffs, which are always exciting for all sports. Whether or not it's a state tournament, but just playoffs in general and that end of the year. And then you have with Isaac here with girls hockey, new beginnings where
Yep.
The potential is limitless, and everybody's excited. So it's a really fun part of the year.
Never a dull moment. I know that.
Nope.
And your office is like Grand Central Station. Kids coming and going, coaches coming and going, fans coming and going. You're kind of right there, the hub.
That keeps it exciting. I wouldn't want it any other way. That it's so much fun.
So we should do a shout out for Amber, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. She just does an amazing job in there, just keeping me in line, keeping the office going from day to day while I'm working on something for next February. She's the one that will remind me that I forgot to do something that has to get done for that night or
Right.
whatever the case may be. So
Yeah.
she's invaluable in that office.
And I don't know if you track the miles you drive following these teams, but Derek makes an effort to get to like every tournament that he can possibly get to, no matter where it is. So you put some miles on.
Yep, it was last 2 months. I think it was about 2,000.
Yeah.
So just between the cities, St. Cloud, and some others, and one thing that's coming back on that is a lot of our sections that we're in now are going to high seed.
Yep.
And our teams have been nice enough to get the high seed, so I haven't had to travel quite as far. So that was really nice. Football team,
Yep.
in those 2 home games, that made it a little bit shorter, but no, and I don't mind that at all, and love doing that, especially again with the people that we have back at school. Again, Amber, who can run the office if I'm gone for 2, 3, 4, 5 days without a problem, and our coaches who they have their own sports going on, their own activities here, and if I'm gone, they're making sure that they're doing everything here. So they do a great job, and my family's very forgiving too.
Yes, that's good. And of course, the Otters also host other sections in the playoffs, which isn't always easy either, but it's great.
It's great for us. We enjoy hosting, and we had the 6A volleyball tournament, semifinals and finals here last week in the middle of all that too. So that was, excuse me, that added to our busyness. But the people that run that, the different schools and Region 6A and Mark Helmrichs, and they're here. They they do a lot of the legwork and on that too. But yeah, we enjoy doing that as well.
Absolutely. So this fall was outstanding. You had so many great accomplishments. You've already touched on a couple of them, but I was talking to Chris Grabowska, and what a historic couple of years for Otter football. It doesn't happen where you go back to state in football very often.
You really don't, because you are unlike other sports. You are so reliant on seniors,
right?
And yes, juniors play and sophomores play, but you're relying on that, and and having that offensive and defensive line and things like that. And on top of that, I don't know how many teams in the history of Minnesota have gone back-to-back state and had to move up a class in the middle of that.
Right.
So it's not like we just repeated our own district or our own set. We weren't the defending 8-3A section. We went up to 8-4A.
Yep.
Whole new teams, whole new district calendar, whole new travel schedule, all new teams. And I don't know how many people thought we would even be 500.
Right.
With the likes of Becker and Ricori and Marshall and all these guys on our schedule, Detroit Lakes, and for us to go to state again and leave it all out there.
Yep.
We faced a really good Orono team the other night.
Right.
Really big, experienced, and we gave it everything we had. We just ran out of gas there at the end. So
I'll be honest with you. During the off season, people that asked me how are the Otters going to do in 4A moving up, and I said, you know what? If they're 500, it's going to be a good year because there's some really good teams at 4A, and our enrollment, as Chris pointed out too, is so much less than most of these schools. We're at a disadvantage,
We're definitely in that, and I feel like, and when people ask me, and sometimes coaches disagree with me, but like where we're at for right now for basketball, baseball, even football, things like that, I truly believe is a good spot for us. I mean, I think, with Little Falls, Detroit Lakes, and the Ricoris, who are 100, 200 bigger than us, but we're growing right now. It's a mindset. It's kind of a culture that you belong in that. And throughout our history, we've always been in those sections.
Yep.
And so when people ask me that same question this summer, how's football going to be? And they asked me that about basketball and baseball and softball and volleyball the year before. I said, there'll probably be an adjustment. It's new teams, but it's a mindset. It's not the small school mindset. It's we belong with these.
Yep.
And I said, so it'll be an adjustment, but this is where we belong, and we'll do just fine. I didn't expect how well our basketball teams did last year. Our baseball team making a run to the section championship for their first year in 8-3A. Both basketball teams getting the section championship, and now football this year. Our girls volleyball team going to the semifinals and getting knocked out eventually by a very good Sauk Rapids team. I didn't expect it to be that quick. So that's a huge credit again to our coaches, to our players, to our community, everybody that supported these teams. I mean, transition's been seamless. It's like we never left the section. So it's something to hang our hat on. We're very proud of the fact that we're one of the small schools now in our section, and we're still getting as far as we ever did when we were the big school.
Yep.
And those others.
I think teams that see the playoff schedule and see that they have to play the Otters in any sport right now are not excited about the prospect of having to beat the Otters.
No, I mean, it's just, and we've shown it in multiple sports, and it's obviously the ones that people notice. Like I said, when our volleyball team was doing well and our football team was doing well, most people notice that. But then you throw in there our tennis team, who was probably one of the top 2 or 3 AA teams in the state this year.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's safe to say the way they played down there and played all year. You have a cross country teams where we sending another 2 to cross country for the boys, where we sent, and then 2 all-state runners for our girls.
Yep.
And so a couple of the girls that won, Carson Lowe that made state, she was in the state tennis tournament one day before that, playing both sports. And then Allie Bradenberg was the same, playing both in the competing in sections for cross country and girls tennis for state. And then, of course, Cassie Wellman, who 3 years ago missed out by half a second of getting to state, and she made it her goal. I'm gonna make it to state next year, and she did, losing out on first place by not even a second. And then last year, her goal for this year was to win the section. She did it by 12 seconds. So and she still got one more year. And with her 6th place finish, or what, 6th, 7th place finish at the state meet, just phenomenal.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's up and down the board, and even with our soccer teams, with our boys jumping up a class again, they competed really well. The CLC is and our section is so tough in soccer, and they did well. And with Paul Hicks and Amber taking over the reins of the girls. Again, just there's that transition period, and we loved what we saw there. So it was all good this fall.
Well, I love it. The thing that you measure it by is, are we better, on the last day of the season than we were on the first day, or how much better are we? Have we made progress? And I think across the board, everybody made great progress.
Yep. And that was the crux of my text at about 10 o'clock last night to Isaac.
There you go.
Buttonsdall after our first game last night. We were talking after the game, and Isaac, we're excited there. You just talked to him, but and his response to me was, "Yeah, we're excited."
Yeah.
And this was after the game last night, and a very experienced team within experience. It's where we're going to be at the end of this year for them, and that's the kind of the philosophy of all of our coaches. That whole trust the process. You can win games now, or let's see where we're at then, and let's reach our potential, wherever that potential leads us. We can't control our section. We can't control the other teams. We can control us, and that's something that we really believe in.
Let's talk about tennis for a minute, because they deserve to be talked about. I mean, what a great fall for Jamie Lill and her whole crew. You're a tennis guy, obviously, and you never know what you're going to get, weather-wise, first of all, with tennis, because you're battling the elements as well as the person across the net in every match that you're at. You had, I think, a great fall weather-wise for the kids to compete. That's number one. I think that's great, because you can even practice without worrying about, I got to go indoors today. So that helped a lot. But I think of the coaches that Jamie has to work with, the assistants, and you've been so blessed in your tennis program with outstanding coaches who not only coach during the season, but I'm thinking Norm Newell. I mean, was there any one of these girls he never gave lessons to through the years when they were younger? What a great gift for you as an AD to have not only a great head coach to work with, but the assistant coaches that they surround themselves with.
Absolutely. You have Norm, who I'll talk about in a second. You have Jesse Schneeberger for both the boys and the girls program, who just does everything behind the scenes. He's a behind the scenes guy. That's where he likes to be. But whether you're having him go play some doubles teams and work with them, they could be seventh graders, they could be seniors, and your number one doubles team, and or any of the singles, because he was a singles player. So he does a phenomenal job. But Norm, you say, Norm, is there any girl that he hasn't coached? And I would say, is there any one of us coaches that he hasn't coached? I mean, we've all. He was the first one I hired back in 1997 when I first took over the boys and the girls, and Norm was the first one there. And so, and he helped me this last spring too. But what he has done for these girls and for Jamie, it's just, again, it's a lot behind the scenes, but it's a lot of the stuff on the court, and it's all summer long. He does his camps and his lessons. So yeah, he's invaluable.
One of Derek's favorite days is the homecoming, the Hall of Fame induction, and Norm was inducted into the District 544 Hall of Fame for the service that he's provided. And I know you were pretty excited about that night, as we all were.
Very well deserving, just for his impact, and one of the founders of the Backcourt Club. I mean, the guy doesn't rest, and he has not slowed down.
No.
So, it's pretty phenomenal to have people like that in our community. It makes a huge difference in multiple sports with generations of kids.
And the way the girls turned out for him on Friday night for the football game, and welcome Norm, that
that was a lot of fun.
That was awesome. Yeah. So, okay, the fall season's been tremendous, and we're transitioning into winter. And what do fans need to know about winter? I know everybody's getting used to the ticketing thing, but I know there are still people that ask me, how do you get tickets for this? New grandparents who have kids of varsity or whatever. What can you tell us about making that easy?
It's GoFan and you can get an app if you like using apps on your phone. That's usually the easiest way. You click on it, click Fergus Falls, or make that your favorite, and then Fergus Falls pops up. It'll show you the next games. Even most of our away games now, because most of those teams that we play, everybody in our conference, and even most of the area teams now use GoFan. So you'll see even some of the away games in there. But all of our home games are that, so you can buy that ahead of time, and it'll go right to an email or a text. Just open up that email as you walk in, or open up your ticket as you walk in. We see it, click it, and you walk in. You can also use a credit or debit card at the door. Okay, we don't have cash there. We don't do that anymore, putting out those thousands of dollars of
Right.
1s and 5s and 10s to people all across and around, and our ticket people really do appreciate that.
I'm sure,
but
yeah.
makes it a lot smoother, a lot faster, and so we don't do that. But you can buy it ahead of time, or you can do that. And then there's also the passes.
I was
we
just going to
offer.
ask you about that.
Yeah, we sell more. Most of our fans come in with passes that you can purchase on there as well, and we have punch cards that are part of that too. So it's, I believe that's like if you buy, it's a 10 punch card, but it costs you 9. So if you're going to go to at least 10 games, it still makes more sense to buy a punch card than just do the individual, because it's like getting one free.
Okay.
There's a 20 punch card and a 10 punch card.
All
you
right.
can do. Yep.
So again, another question I get as we approach the winter season is, so are there going to be basketball games at Roosevelt again this year?
Yes. 8 so
Okay.
far. Yep. We have 4 girls and 4 boys.
Okay.
So, and they're spread out. Our first 2 will be right in December here for the boys and girls Friday nights. We're working on some really fun things for those 2 games. I know we're working kind of on a whiteout theme, like a real whiteout, where the whole everybody does it, like wear white uniforms and everything. So we're having some fun. That's a boys game against Detroit Lakes. And the next Friday night, the girls, we're going to probably throw a big Christmas party for that one. That'll be right before Christmas. But we'll have, talking to Mindy Feuder, we'll have an alumni night in January again. But we have, right now we have scheduled, and if you look on our schedule online, if you just go to the activities page and click on calendar, and you can click for basketball, you can see which games are over there. But we have 4 boys and 4 girls over there so far. And we also have more gymnastics and wrestling than we've ever had at home. We have 4 or 5 home for each of those. And those, of course, are all over at Roosevelt, too. So it'll be a busy place.
Okay,
Busy
that's
place.
good to know. All right.
Yep.
Very good. Well, anything else, Derek, about winter sports that we should be aware of? Or
No, we have a bunch of them that start again now. Girls swimming, or we should talk about girls swimming
Yes,
too.
we should, yes.
They are in the middle of sections. In fact, in about 2 hours, they will have their finals. Zia Mora Jacobson on Thursday as a diver, she qualified for state.
Awesome.
And that was one of the first, that's the first time in several years we've had a diver. And Megan Schertzing's our new diving coach. She's just done a phenomenal job with all of our divers, real young, and to have for Jacobson to qualify is just
that's
great.
awesome. Yep.
And then our swimmers had a really good night last night in the prelims. We were qualifying, I think, in all of that. I mean, I didn't see one that I don't think we didn't qualify someone in for the finals.
Okay.
And so at 11 a.m. this morning now up in War Road, I didn't make that trip. I'm a little disappointed myself. I didn't make it up there for that. But that's at 11 a.m. this morning. Top 2 in each race are the ones that qualify. If you want to follow along online with the results, if you go to our webpage. I know Amber put that on there for us. So you can just click on that, and that's the scoring app, and you can see how they do. And they have state next week.
Awesome.
Yep. A lot of other sports for winter start tomorrow. Girls hockey already started. We have gymnastics. We have boys hockey. We have girls basketball. And we have Nordic ski that all have their first practices on Monday. Not tomorrow.
Yeah,
But,
right.
yep.
Wow.
We're going.
Here
We're
we
going.
go. Yeah. All right. Hey, thanks for coming in and giving
Absolutely.
us the update. We always appreciate it. And you do a great job up there, you and Amber. And
Well, we
the
appreciate
whole
everything
crew.
you guys do to get the word out there and let people see our games, hear our games, and everything.
Yep.
So we really appreciate that.
I was watching Mark last night.
I was too.
Broadcasting the hockey. And
Yep.
good to have the video streaming
Absolutely.
going on. And
Yep.
All right. Thanks,
All right.
Derek. Appreciate you.
Thank
We
you.
work closely with Derek all season long, and he does a good job of balancing everything. Are you a good juggler?
No.
Well, you're doing a good job juggling all this. So, all right.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Derek Abrahams, the activities director at Fergus Falls High School. Hey, when we come back, I think Zach is going to be able to tell me who the winner of our $25 Viking gift certificate is. So we'll tell you that, too. And Corey Fry is here to talk Hillcrest football. What a year they have had, undefeated and going to the state semis. We'll talk more about that after the break. You're listening to the Coaches Show here on News Talk 1250 KBRF and video streaming through the Fergus Now app and the KBRF YouTube channel, presented by the Viking Cafe.
The key to a great meal is at the Viking Cafe of Fergus Falls. The Viking Cafe with Minnesota's best omelet, manhole cover pancakes, and burgers that will fill your appetite. The key to a great breakfast and lunch is at the Viking Cafe, downtown Fergus Falls.
The 2025 model year closeout pricing has arrived at Minnesota Motor Company in Fergus Falls. They have just a handful of new 2025 Chevy and Buick vehicles remaining, and all of them are at their lowest prices of the year. From the Chevy Blazer to the Buick Enclave, you won't want to miss out on these great deals. Contact the sales team for more information.
Minnesota Motor.
South Pebble Lake Road, Fergus Falls.
Lake Region Healthcare knows what all coaches know. It takes tons of teamwork, great amounts of grit, and heaps of hustle to triumph. Lake Region Healthcare, supporting and celebrating our high school athletes.
Nelson Auto Center in Fergus Falls is proud to sponsor area athletics. Nelson Auto knows the value of a good team, and we'd like to invite you in to meet our team. See how our team takes care of you and your family. Nelson Auto Center in Fergus Falls.
Running Stitches Embroidery in Fergus Falls is West Central Minnesota's leader in high-quality screen printing and custom embroidery. Whether you're looking for a one-of-a-kind custom job or need to outfit the entire team, Running Stitches Embroidery will be there when you need them.
What's your number?
I drove 60 miles to get a great deal from Quality Toyota. I drove 45 miles to get a great deal from Quality Toyota.
Quality Toyota.
The key to a great meal is at the Viking Cafe of Fergus Falls. The Viking Cafe with Minnesota's best omelet, manhole cover pancakes, and burgers that will fill your appetite. The key to a great breakfast and lunch is at the Viking Cafe, downtown Fergus Falls.
Welcome back to the show. We're going to have Corey Fry slipping in with us here to talk Hillcrest football. The unbeaten Comets are headed to the U.S. Bank Stadium for the semifinals in 9-player. Congratulations, Coach.
Yeah, thank you.
That's pretty exciting.
Yeah. Pretty exciting. I'm glad I'm bald and I can't lose hair. So,
Maybe you should paint a Comet logo or something on your head. What do you think?
Yeah. Oh, goodness.
Yeah, it was quite an excuse me, quite a night.
Yeah.
I have this cough thing keeps coming. So if I start coughing, you just talk, Corey. Okay?
That's okay. I got a sore throat too. So.
We're all in great shape here, right? No, the Comets with an unreal win, 40-38. Oh, before I get too far, congratulations, Becky Oden. Becky is the winner of our $25 gift certificate from the Viking Cafe, and we're glad you're watching, listening, tuning in. You're at the games all the time. Becky's a great fan.
Yes, she is.
And we appreciate her. Yeah. So, okay, Corey, 40-38, just another ho-hum game. Over 400 yards of offense for each team.
Yep.
It was one of those games like you get a little worried whoever has the ball last is going to win this game. Thankfully, that didn't happen. I mean, you shut them down when you needed to at the end, but wow. That's what I texted you. My word was, wow, what a game. But as a coach, did you have any time to think on the sidelines? I mean, it's coming at you so fast.
Yeah, and there was points in the games where both teams ended up getting stops here and there, but I think when you get two teams that offensively can do almost anything that they need to do, it puts a lot of strain on your defensive players. And so it was one of those nights where offense definitely was in control of that, and thankfully our defense stepped up when we needed it the most.
Well, you obviously were able to make some adjustments in your favor at halftime because it was 16-16 at halftime, and then you scored 3 straight touchdowns in the second half. What was your message at halftime? What kind of turned it around?
Yeah, our message at halftime was just get back to the basics. I think just being in an atmosphere like that, Buffalo High School is a really nice venue. They don't have a track that creates a natural barrier for fans, so the fans were really on top of you, so it made it loud. So communication across the field was very hard, and that was hard for both teams. And so it was one of those things where we just had to kind of calm the nerves a little bit of a lot of our guys. And once we went into halftime, we went over a few things, adjusted a couple different things in how we wanted to come out defensively. Offensively, we felt we were moving it well. We just had a few mistakes here and there in the first half, but I think we did really great coming out in the second half.
How huge is it to have the number of seniors you have in a situation that you're in like this?
Yeah, really big. This whole week, it was really it was natural for us to go through the preparations of preparing for this game with those seniors, because it was a lot of different things and pulling people different ways, whether it was other radio stations, other TV stations coming out to practice, and a lot of different things. So for young guys, that's a lot. And being that we haven't been in this situation in a few years, it was a strain on our program. But I think having 14 seniors be able to kind of lead and know what we're doing and how we're doing it, I think that really allowed us to come out victorious, but also have a quality week of practice leading up to the game.
And how excited are you and Coach Stish and your whole staff for these kids who you have seen grow from, middle schoolers, junior hires to this point where they are now the leaders and just establish themselves as, great high school football players?
Yeah, it's phenomenal. This is the first group since I've been at Hillcrest, and Coach Clark was there a couple years prior to me. And this is the first group that's come through our J High program fully. And so just seeing their development through those years, so basically those 6 years where they're playing 2 years of J High and then moving on to kind of that varsity level for us, you really see the growth, not only like physically, but mentally and spiritually as well.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of our guys was really key on that. Like, one of the first times I actually met Ethan was actually carrying him off the field as a J High guy. He had tore his collarbone, and so ended up coming out on the field, being able to get him up off the field and get him into his dad's truck and off to the hospital. But that was our first really like bonding situation, and now him and I sit down and have conversations all the time. So it's really nice just to see that process.
Yeah, what a thrill. And coaches often talk about building culture.
Yeah.
And these guys have been a big part of building that culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's is really big. Coach Stitch has his like core group of guys that he works with directly. Coach Clark, the same. Coach Stender, Coach Brown. You also have Steve Moline, who came back, and he was a part of that state championship team.
Yep.
Along with JP, and they're able to just kind of really talk life into our players and just kind of help us go through this process as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, Ethan, another big night statistically. I mean, stats only tell part of the story, obviously. We already told some of the other part of it, but just to highlight some of this, these are incredible numbers. 21 carries, 124 yards, 2 touchdowns. 14 for 22 throwing the football. That's good at any level. 245 yards, 3 touchdowns. And then you've got Sean Berge catching 8 passes for 191 yards and 2 scores. Man, I tell you, you're giving these defenses nightmares, Corey, with these weapons that you have out there.
Yeah. One, Ethan Swedberg is phenomenal. Every play in that game Thursday night, he's seen an extra rusher. Mabel Canton had a good scheme, and they just wanted to force him to get rid of the ball quick. And Ethan was able to really process a lot of things and get it done for us. And then just to be able to carry the bulk of our rushes too, it's phenomenal. And then when you get mashups on the outside, Coach Stitch and his offensive game plan, it's tough when you run a college like spread offense at a high school 9-man level. And so creating mismatches and opportunities for Sean Berge to go be Sean Berge, it is really a joy to see. On that 58-yard touchdown pass, the moment the ball left Ethan's hands, I kind of just looked up, was like, this is one of those balls he just overthrew. And to watch Sean kick it into another gear and go get that ball, you just don't see that too often at the high school level. That's one of those plays that just typically happen on Saturdays.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
How fun. And the thing I think about too is you talk about the extra rusher and the other defense. The defense is focusing on we got to stop Ethan Swedberg. So not only is he getting these numbers, he's getting these numbers against a team that is focusing on trying to stop him from getting those numbers and making things happen. And then on top of that, he's one of your leading tacklers on defense.
Yep.
It's like, this does not compute. This should not be working. You know, there's so much against him supposedly.
Yep.
But again, just withstands it. And Sean Berge was your leading tackler that night. So these guys are doing it both ways for you. How tough is that late in the game? Because, you know, Mabel Canton came back on you.
Yeah.
Was there some fatigue factor there?
I think it was a little bit of fatigue factor, but also I believe Mabel Canton had a really good game plan. The type of wing tee they play and keeping everything tight in the backfield is tough. Unless you get a really good interior push every single play, they're just going to get you with misdirection plays, and they were able to really do that. Their quarterback was phenomenal. He was able to run the ball. As you can tell, kind of the last play before the time expired, he was able to make a throw as he was being tackled and throw a touchdown off of that. So hats off to those guys as well. So I think it's a really good benefit that we played a team like this that was able to just fight tooth and nail and be able to try to grind a game out and different things. So I think it's really good for us to be able to come out victorious in that.
Yeah, they had 311 rushing yards on you. That doesn't happen every week against your team, huh? Boy. Yeah, they had to have some good rushers. Yeah. And how was the line? Their line, was it pretty
Their line was pretty stout. They came off the ball a lot quicker than we imagined. Just watching film doesn't do things justice sometimes. And they had a really good front. And being that we only have 4 down linemen, it makes it tough, especially trying to rotate those guys in and out and trying to get them breaks when they need them.
So Mabel Canton scores on that play you described to get within 2 points.
Yep.
Tell us what happened on that 2-point play. How did you prevent them from getting into the end zone?
So one thing we have been talking about the last few weeks is not allowing one play to beat you, and being able to quickly adjust from making a mistake or a team scoring and being able to flip the switch and come back the next play. And on that play, we were in our base defense, which was kind of our 5-man front. And what ended up happening, Dane Larby ended up shedding his block on the center really quick and was able to get a hand on the quarterback to kind of slow his momentum. And then Eli Walkup, who as a freshman, to make a play like that at that type of stage, impressive. Like, words can't describe like how I feel about that. Was able to come up, him and Jerry Olson kind of finished the play off. And it was one of those moments where, and Craig, I've been around football for a long time.
Yep.
Instead of celebrating, I had to kind of go sit down on the sideline directly after the play to kind of just catch my breath from that whole process. Because in your head, you're thinking, we need to stop, but you're also thinking, we're about to go to overtime and we need to try to switch gears and get our guys back ready mentally and different things. And the highs and lows of that whole sequence was a lot. And so I kind of had to go sit down on the sideline there for about, in my head, about a good 30 seconds, just to refocus and everything. And then being able to go out and celebrate with the guys was really nice.
Process what just happened there, right? Okay, did this really just happen? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, what a great win for the Comets. And, you know, thankfully, the weather was pretty nice that night. It wasn't, did you have a little drizzle maybe, or was it?
Late, it was a little drizzle. The biggest thing, the win early, but neither team really was affected by it. I think both teams prepared for the weather
Right.
itself. I think the one big difference in that game for us was switch, because typically we play with the GST footballs, and when you make it past your section finals, you have to switch over to the Spalding Alpha football.
Okay.
And those are a little bit of different shaped football. They in cold weather, they get harder, they get slicker. And so that was one of the causes of Ethan's fumbles earlier in the game. And then Eli Walkup had a couple times where he juggled the ball. And so with the weather, all those different things, that does pop up. But thankfully, we don't have to worry about that next week.
Hey, you're indoors now the rest of the way. I got to love that, huh?
Yeah.
And that'll be good for your kicking game, too, right? Because Kean Stender is capable of booting some field goals if you need him, too.
And I think Kean is ready to kick some footballs there. So
that'll be exciting.
Yeah.
So give us a scouting report on your opponent, Kitson County Central.
Kitson County Central, tough team. Really stout up front, offensively and defensively on the lines. Phenomenal running back. Very well coached. They don't beat themselves too much. We were able to see them early in the year because week 1 they played Rotse, and then we turned around and had to play Rotse week 2. So we were able to see a little bit of film on them early. But then they also played directly after us in the Fargo Dome last week. And so it was really nice to kind of see them up close in person to just get a sense of who they are. But then again, we got to put them out in space just like everybody else. So and it's one of those games where we think that it should be another slugfest.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and of course you have to get past the point of, oh, we're at US Bank Stadium, you know, just to get focused on the game, because that's a whole great new experience for these guys, but you don't want to be overwhelmed by that.
Yeah, that's true. And then the other thing is, I thought it was pretty funny. I was joking with their coach the other day. His name is Corey Welling, and obviously I'm Corey Fry, and so we joked about it being the battle of the Corys. So it's one of those things where you just add extra things to the game.
It's gravy now, isn't it, Coach?
Yep.
I mean, yeah, you want to play for a state title. There's no doubt about it.
That's for sure.
That's the goal.
Yep.
But you want to celebrate this team and each step of the way and enjoy the whole process. And sometimes it's hard to do that when it's all happening so quickly, you know.
That is true.
But yeah, it'll be a great experience for not only you and your coaching staff and your team, but for the whole community, student body, the fans around. And you've had great following. We're going to have a lot of red and white at US Bank, I think, on
Thursday.
Thursday.
Be a lot of red and white there.
Yeah.
So
4 o'clock, right? Kickoff.
4 o'clock kickoff.
Jason Retzloff will be there to cover it. 3:45 pregame on KJ Country 96.5 FM. Corey, thanks so much. Congratulations. 11-0?
11-0.
11-0.
Yep.
Awesome. What a season.
Yeah.
For the Comets. One for the record books for sure. All right, we'll come back. We've got one final break here, and we'll come back to wrap things up as our Coaches Show presented by the Viking Cafe continues after this timeout.
The key to a great meal is at the Viking Cafe of Fergus Falls. The Viking Cafe with Minnesota's best omelet, manhole cover pancakes, and burgers that will fill your appetite. The key to a great breakfast and lunch is at the Viking Cafe, downtown Fergus Falls.
The 2025 model year closeout pricing has arrived at Minnesota Motor Company in Fergus Falls. They have just a handful of new 2025 Chevy and Buick vehicles remaining, and all of them are at their lowest prices of the year. From the Chevy Blazer to the Buick Enclave, you won't want to miss out on these great deals. Contact the sales team for more information.
Minnesota Motor.
South Pebble Lake Road, Fergus Falls.
Lake Region Healthcare knows what all coaches know. It takes tons of teamwork, great amounts of grit, and heaps of hustle to triumph. Lake Region Healthcare, supporting and celebrating our high school athletes.
Nelson Auto Center in Fergus Falls is proud to sponsor area athletics. Nelson Auto knows the value of a good team, and we'd like to invite you in to meet our team. See how our team takes care of you and your family. Nelson Auto Center in Fergus Falls.
Running Stitches Embroidery in Fergus Falls is West Central Minnesota's leader in high-quality screen printing and custom embroidery. Whether you're looking for a one-of-a-kind custom job or need to outfit the entire team, Running Stitches Embroidery will be there when you need them.
What's your number?
I drove 60 miles to get a great deal from Quality Toyota. I drove 45 miles to get a great deal from Quality Toyota.
Quality Toyota.
The key to a great meal is at the Viking Cafe of Fergus Falls. The Viking Cafe with Minnesota's best omelet, manhole cover pancakes, and burgers that will fill your appetite. The key to a great breakfast and lunch is at the Viking Cafe, downtown Fergus Falls.
Welcome back. Coaches Show presented by the Viking Cafe. Congratulations to Becky Oden, who won our $25 gift certificate from the Viking. And thanks to Pat Scholl and everyone at the Viking for feeding us every Saturday morning, as we had pancakes and that good bacon from the Viking this morning. So thumbs up on that one, guys. Thank you. You can't go wrong. I mean, anything on the menu. Love their omelets. And just a great way to start the day, great way to break up the day at the Viking Cafe. And they sponsor our show every Saturday. Now, having said that, we don't have a show the next 2 Saturdays because we are transitioning now from fall to winter sports. Fall seasons are pretty much over except for the Hillcrest Comets and the Otter Swimmers and Divers who are competing today up in Warroad and next week at State, a number of them. Congratulations to Ziamara Jacobson on qualifying for state diving. That's outstanding. She'll be competing against the best in the state in her event next week at the U of M. And we will talk to Rachel Cox on Monday at 7:25 on Talkin' Sports here on News Talk 1250 KBRF to review the section swim and dive meets. So be sure to join us for that. Also, I want to thank the fall coaches who were here week after week to talk about their teams and their seasons. And really want to thank Mark Johnson for filling in for me a couple of times during this fall. It's been a tough fall for a number of reasons with family situations, and appreciate all the prayers that have gone up for my brother and his wife as they have both struggled with cancer issues, and I've been out trying to help out in some ways there. And I want you to lift Mark Johnson and his family up in prayer this week, too, because Mark's dad passed away yesterday morning, and the funeral will be this next week, and it's been a difficult time for the Johnson family, too, to lose Mark's dad. So be sure to keep them in your prayers this week as well. I can't tell you how much I appreciate the guys, Mark and Jason Retzloff and Brad Anderson and Bob Roars, our whole broadcast team. They do an outstanding job, and then you get guys like Zach and Derek and David working the cameras and making sure that the video stream gets out there. Got a really good team, and just like all these coaches talking about their teams, it takes a team to be successful in anything you do, and we've got a great one here at Layton Media. So I hope you enjoy what we're bringing to you. This winter is going to be jam-packed. There are many nights. We have 2 or 3 events, video streaming each night, and then just radio coverage on some games as well, covering Fergus Falls and Hillcrest and area schools. We've got a number of Henning and West Central area, Underwood and Rothsay and Battle Lake. We're just all over the place with our broadcast team and looking to do the best we can do. So we're back again on the 29th of November for our next show. Thanks to Running Stitches Embroidery and to the Viking Cafe for presenting the Coaches Show Saturday mornings on News Talk 1250 KBRF and streaming through the Fergus Now app and the Fergus Falls YouTube channel. Have a great weekend.
Thank you for joining us for the News Talk 1250 KBRF Coaches Show, presented by the Viking Cafe and brought to you by the Minnesota Motor Company, Lake Region Healthcare, Nelson Auto Center, Quality Toyota, and Running Stitches.